Carl and Damon here from Games, Brrraains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial.com for sure. And it's They Made What into a Movie. As we step back in time, doing another animation, an OVA, all the way back to 1991, where Ryu Kenden was released in Japan. Only in Japan. What is this? This is, of course, Ninja Gaiden. Or Ninja Gaiden, depending upon which version you say it. It is a series, of course, a famous series of action video games by Temco, featuring the ninja Ryu Hayabusa as its protagonist. It actually first appeared in arcades and on the NES in 1988. I didn't know it appeared in arcades. I was aware it was on Nintendo consoles. And there have been a ton of games in the series across multiple consoles, but nothing in modern day, nothing for a while. This OVA is famous. It was one of the first video games. Not the OVA, sorry, the game was famous for being one of the first to have cinematic scenes in between stages, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a short animation movie based around Ninja Gaiden. How do you say it? Gaiden or Gaiden?
Gaiden, I think.
Gaiden.
Yeah.
I've heard different pronunciations
Me too.
for both, so I don't really think it bloody matters. Who cares? But of course, we have to talk about our history with this series of games, and it's simply that it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
Me neither.
I never played any of these when I was younger. I haven't played any of the later games.
Nope.
All I have ever heard about these games was they are some of the hardest games ever. And I only know that from watching the Angry Video Game Nerds reviews of these games. That's my knowledge of it.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to ninja games, this Tenchu stuff, Assassins was always the one I played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There aren't many, to be honest, but this was certainly not one I ever played. So, as a video game movie adaptation, we don't have anything to go on.
Nope.
We've got no comparative to go on. So we just kind of watched this with eyes of, alright, it's a 1991 OVA, it's animation, it's going to have that manga look to it. Let's see if it at least tells a coherent and interesting story.
Yep.
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I was surprised because we've done the likes of Ballerina Toshinden and a few others like that as well, and they're alright. They're alright. I kind of expected the same, but I think this has got moments that elevate it a little bit here and there.
I mean, considering it's 1991, I thought the animation was pretty impressive.
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, so I enjoyed that. I mean, admittedly, like the first probably 10 minutes of the film, I wasn't really interested in it.
Oh, I was lost.
Yeah,
Gods of the dragon and gods of evil nonsense.
I had no idea. I didn't understand the story, but when the action started, that's when I got intrigued.
The first action scenes bored me. It was later when we at least had a little more reason for them existing. Because at first I was just like, faceless goons and all that.
Yeah.
But then when it all sorts of settled down, one of the things I do appreciate this for is not overfilling it, not overpacking it with characters. So we quickly establish a handful.
Yeah, like 4 or 5.
Yeah, like 4 or 5, and that's it. And I was like, well, that makes it so much easier to follow. So much easier to follow.
And even though like the 4 or 5, like the two, like the girls, like Irene and the other girl, I can't remember her name.
Sarah.
It's as a Sarah. They were towards the end of the film. Then Sarah, she's not even involved in it. She's outside. It's Jeff and Robert.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
Ryu and Riku or Ryu.
Ryu.
Yeah, Ryu.
Yeah, like as in Street Fighter.
Yeah. Too many Ryus, man. Every game has got a bloody.
Well, I think that caused a lot of confusion didn't it, back in the day, where people thought the Ryu of Street Fighter was in some way the same Ryu from Ninja Gaiden. Anyway, this is directed by Mamoru Kanabe and Minoru Ozakazuki, and written by Tomofumi Nobi. Apologies for the butchering of Japanese names here. It's going to continue as I read the voice cast. We have Keiichi Nanba as Ryu, Yumo Toma as Irene, Nororo Wakamoto as Robert T. Sturgeon, Daisuke Goriya as Jeffrey Hammond, Yoshiki Shakabara as Sarah. Jesus! Unsho Izuzuki as Dr. Ned Friedman, Soroya Sugimoto as Catherine Friedman, and Shinji Owaga as Professor Bucky Wise and the narrator, which is the one who speaks at the beginning, which is the opening narration we get.
Yep.
Opening narration. Since ancient times, the gods of the dragon and the gods of evil have fought. The gods of evil have the power to destroy humanity in an instant. But that power was sealed by those whose veins hold the blood of the dragon gods. And straight I'm just like,
yeah.
What is this nonsense? You know, I'm glad it's done an opening narration, and then we kind of, over the mentioning it again at the end, we kind of just move on from this because it's fucking nonsensical. You're trying to pack in a lot of. It's just like just 2 warring factions. That's it.
I mean, for a 49-minute film, that was a lot of information there.
It's just dumped on you, and you'll make your eyes, you'll go cross-eyed hearing it. But we then begin focusing on a man being chased by shadowy masked men at night in New York. And it is New York.
It is New York.
And there's a reason why you know it's New York, right? Because we get a distance shot. And there are significant buildings that unfortunately don't exist anymore due to a horrendous incident.
I saw Times Square because they had Les Miserables
on
the theatre.
No, there's a one brief long shot, and of course we are referencing the Twin Towers. But they are in a long shot, and I was like, oh, wow, okay. Obviously 1991.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to me that they went for a real place. And we're like, oh, we want to make sure you know it's New York.
Yeah.
Okay, all right then. This man ends up trapped by these other men and is forced to fight with his sword. When he pulls it out, we get a dragon across the screen in the opening title. And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's it. Because immediately I was like, well, you haven't said, but I'm going to presume this is Ryu Hayabusa. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to. Sometime after, we see a woman in a restaurant looking at the clock. As it ticks, we refocus on Ryo as he fights the masked men, and we get blood there. And I was like, oh, we got blood.
Yep.
All right, cool. It's an adult one. Admittedly, maybe it does exist, because I'll be honest, I don't know if we watched an edited or cut version by a few seconds. There isn't, not by 10 or 15 minutes, but like an edit that might have cut out any nudity or anything like that. Because when we got blood, I went, this is an adult one. We're going to see some boobs. Yeah, and we didn't.
I think my video was like 49.
Mine was about 49. I think mine was about 49.50.
Yeah, it was like weird. It was a weird time.
Yeah. So like, there is a possibility we may have had some stuff cut out because we did watch this for free on YouTube. So there's no way for us to really know, and I've gone out my way to watch it again. It's a one-time only deal, and I'm not sad if someone had gone through and snipped out any boobs because of YouTube. It's okay. I don't need to see the cartoon boobs. It's fine. I can live with it. Ryo wins easily enough and searches them, finding an ID card, but then they'd self-destruct. It's like, okay. So they're robots, but they bled? Is this like Terminator? Living flesh over metal skeleton?
Bit of a weird one,
Yeah. Returning home to the restaurant, the woman is happy to see him. So this is obviously Ryo's partner. And this is Irene Lou. Irene Lou. And I was very confused about their relationship.
Yep.
I still am by the end, to be honest. Yep. And she was worried about Ryo, but starts talking about her birthday meal. Just starts banging on about it as well. It's like, oh, well, it's all about you, isn't it, Irene? Ryo says he can't attend much to a disappointment. And I was like, I was baffled. I'm like, are they a couple? Are they brother and sister?
Yeah.
Do you mean, I was like, because initially I was like, no, they're not couple. They're brother and sister.
I got the impression that she had no idea that he's a ninja.
Okay.
Because obviously
he's definitely hot. Yeah, I can see that it being believable that he's hiding something.
Yeah, because she's like, oh, you promised, but he's like, well, I've got to do some ninja stuff.
He doesn't say that.
No.
No, he's just kind of moody and just kind of like off with her. That's why I didn't think they were a couple. I was like, okay, brother and sister, that kind of thing, you know? The next day, the city is busting with life. Irene is talking to her friend Sarah and confiding in her that she doesn't know how Ryu feels about her. And I was like, oh, so they are a fucking couple then. Like, what do you mean you don't know how Ryo feels in you? Are you not a couple? I was like, maybe they're not a couple. Maybe she wants to be a couple, and he's kind of keeping her at arm's length.
Yeah, because obviously it doesn't tell you how long they've been together.
It's very confusing, yeah. Sarah tries to assail her worries and offers to ask Robert to ask Ryu about his feelings. And like I said, we already said the first 10 minutes, 15 of this are like, wait, what?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, who's this Robert guy, and why would he be able to ask Ryu about it? They do a lot of, this is already established,
it's presumed,
yeah, like, almost like you feel like you missed another film.
Yeah, it's presumed like you've already met.
Like, you know all these people.
Robert and Ryo have already met each other. And
Yeah.
And we know that. You know,
and I do appreciate it to some degree, because I don't need everything spelled out to me, of course. She then goes to a detective agency which is run by Robert T. Sturgeon and Jeffrey Hammond. Robert doesn't want to get involved in Ryo and Irene's business. Banging, move, Robert, man. Don't get involved in that shit. That's their thing. Before it can go any further, Sarah's called to meet her boss by a colleague, and it turns out she's a reporter, and she's going to cover a massive news story about Dr. Ned Friedman, who apparently has found a cure for cancer. I was like, massive? This is bloody...
That's well.
I don't even know what the words to describe that, you know?
World-ending news, that is.
And it's like, it's that, like... And like that, you didn't have anyone else to send. You had to go find Sarah. Like, that is like the most important people in the world going there. Everyone is congregating there. And we then go to the Friedman Corporation, and the reporters are annoyed that Ned is late. We see Ryo has turned up and is holding the ID card. And I did like that. That's a clever way to show us that ID card is related to this building. And Ryo is then clearly trying to connect some dots that we're not privy to yet.
Yep.
Down with that. Love that kind of storytelling.
Yep.
Finally, the gates open and everyone piles inside, asking questions and taking pictures. And he basically doesn't answer them. And, you know, I don't know this story, but I was like, he looks like a villain. He is sitting and looking exactly like a villain.
Yeah.
He's a villain. He ain't curing shit.
Yep.
Yeah, and what a surprise.
And then it's sort of like, I don't know, eyeballs Ryo. They both like sort of look at each other.
Oh, did you know? I didn't notice that. I thought Ryo was out of shot of it. So,
so maybe I'm just making that.
Or maybe you picked up on it. I mean, to be honest, Damon, I was watching this because I've got to write the notes, so I have to pay attention. But I wasn't invested strongly in it, you know? We then see Ryo afterwards wandering the street, and he has visions of a young girl begging for help. I was like, what's this?
Spider sense, man.
What, he has visions now?
Yeah.
And I still, by the end of it, he will have another set of visions. I still don't get this.
I didn't get it. I mean, I know like ninjas have like these sixth sense.
Oh, right, okay, that.
It's not like spider sense.
But I would understand at the end when he's in the building near the girl. He's in the streets. She's in the fucking facility. There's no reason. All right, you could say, well, it's because he's near the house. Maybe? I don't know. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Because he didn't actually end up here by accident, as he's gone to the home of Ned Friedman. Later, Sarah meets Robert and Jeff at a bar and reveals that she didn't get her interview, but has found something out. Apparently, we'd see that Ned didn't say a word at the press conference, which was odd. Why call it then? Why call a press conference? But she heard a rumour and asked for the doers' help before she'll actually tell them. Okay, let's talk about this group here. I actually really like them. Yeah. I like Jeff and Robert's kind of chemistry.
Yeah, definitely.
But they've also got a little bit of buffoonery about them to make a lighter tone. Because you've got Ryo being all moody and I'm gonna be like that character. We've seen him 100 times before.
Yep.
Then you've got these two, not idiots, not weaklings or anything like that, but a little bit more buffoonery, a little bit loud, a little bit more having fun.
Yep.
I don't mind it so much.
No, it's good. Yeah.
As the driving reveals, the secret is related to human experiments that's taken place at his home, and that is now where they're heading. And I was like, wait, what? And I'm going to come back to this because right now my mind was like, if he's doing human experiments illegally to test cancer, why would he be doing it at his home and not the institute, the Friedman facility?
I mean, it's 49 minutes long, so obviously they have to try and get a lot in quickly.
Get it quickly.
But obviously...
It doesn't make any sense, right?
Where does this rumour come from? Okay.
Where did you hear that rumour? Did another reporter go, hey, guess what I've heard? Guess what I've heard? Do you know what I mean? But also, like I said, go back to it. Why call a press conference if you're not going to speak? Just put a press release out.
Yeah.
At his home, they're struggling to find a way in, but eventually find an open door. As they look around, they find the house a mess and covered in dust. Clearly, no one has been there for a while. They then jokingly start to wonder if the Ned at the press conference was the real Ned and make jokes about him being a ghost, a little bit lightening the mood. And then they run into Ryo in his ninja outfit. So he's there as well. A scream from Jeff gets their attention and they all run to find him shaking on the floor in fear. That's where the buffoonery comes into it.
Yeah.
What did he see? Twisted human bodies and babies in jars. So yeah, human experiments were happening in this house that apparently Ned did at his home, not the facility, but also when he decided to abandon his home, he left everything there to easily be found by anyone.
He must have some amazing parasols, man, to chart to power us.
But this was the fact that anybody could find him. But also, they walked in, they found an open door. It wasn't difficult.
大丈夫か
ロバート
ジェフ
これ
死んでるよね
多分な
Finding a door, Rio rips the film out of Sarah's camera and asks her not to make a story out of this. That's the stuff I do like. I was like, what's this?
Yeah,
this is interesting.
I get it, yeah.
And it kind of made me think, okay, where does he, what, is he like, he's an anomaly amongst this, everyone else. She naturally wants to make a huge story of this.
Of course, yeah. And
Rio's like, look, don't blow the lid in this yet. I've got to check something out. So, okay. Later, Robert as well confronts him in the alleyway wanting answers. See, that was a good touch as well. As Robert kind of gets him up against the wall. It's basically like, what the hell are you playing at?
Yep.
Like you're running around being all secretive. It's not okay. He and Rio, though, suspects that someone is trying to break the seal of the evil gods and it might be Ned. What? How did he get to that?
I've got no idea how he got to it, but obviously he's Ninja Sixth Sense, isn't it? His Ninja Sense and...
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Ryu doesn't answer as we flash back to a time when we see that Robert and Ryu fought together against a guy named Jacko who was trying to break the seal. Yep. It was when Ryu and Robert met, the former being in the army at the time, and angry that Ryu won't tell him, he grabs the boy, but the boy uses a dagger to kill a creeping enemy, so he actually protects Robert in this scene. He then tells Robert that it is his destiny as a dragon ninja and he can't let anyone die. And Ryu then runs off. So here we establish that Rio's whole I'm keeping everyone at arm's length is because I can't risk them potentially dying in this battle against a big evil. Okay.
And it also shows you their relationship now. How they know each other. So.
I didn't mind it. I didn't love the introduction of Jacko. It feels kind of rushed. I also not a big fan of this whole like dragon seals and ninjas and shit, you know?
Yeah,
I feel like this could have done without... Actually, this could have been a cool story without the magic element and just been like a villain doing human experiments, you know? Sarah, Jeff and Robert have gone to see Professor Bucky Wise to ask about Ned as they were students together. Bucky Wise hasn't seen or spoken to him for 20 years. He talks about Ned's genius being close to insanity. That line is famously very thin. Yeah. Mentioning he was after some power. After Robert believes he knows who the threat is, and we see Bucky Wise smiling to himself. And I'm like, oh great, so here's another villain. Now admittedly they do trick me there, so I will give him that. At the restaurant, Rio gets Irene to close early so he can talk to her. Rio asks about a friend who lives in Utah, which was fucking random. I think he's trying to tell her to go spend some time there.
That's what I thought. He's like, you'll be safer there while I deal with this thing. I'm back.
Yeah.
That's what I gathered. Yeah.
But they're disturbed by Bucky Wise's cat, which comes inside. When it sees Rio, it starts to howl and hiss, and then the restaurant is attacked by goons. Fight. Rio fights them. Yep. Some bloody results here, all while protecting Irene. It's a decent...
Yeah,
right?
It's good.
One of the masks fall off, revealing some sort of mutant human creature, so tying it back into a human experimentation angle. When it ends, Irene is traumatized and the police arrive. Rio and Irene escape as the police find all the bodies. Yeah, you probably don't want to be there for that.
Nope.
At the docks nearby, Rio asks Irene to stay away so she doesn't get hurt and can't even bring himself to hug her when she hugs him. She seems to accept that they have no future now and walks away saying she will always wait for the day he comes back. That stopped me in my tracks.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they don't normally do that.
Yeah.
But they've actually, she's just gone, all right.
She's definitely...
Right. If you're ever ready, I'll be here. I was like, They don't stick to it, unfortunately. But I was impressed by the fact they took a serious thing and went, all right, let's deal with it like adults.
I get why Rio is the way he is. The way he's moody, because obviously he can't...
I understand you don't want to risk somebody you care about's life. But we've seen all this shit before.
Of course.
And like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, Dragon Ninja and all that's nonsense ruins it for me. But anyway, Irene is leaving her apartment as Sarah, Robert and Jeff drive up. They get her attention, waving to her, but she's then grabbed by some goons in the car and the others give chase. They are shot at but manage to pull alongside the car with Irene in it and attempt to stop it. Unfortunately though, they end up crashing and the villain's car gets away with Irene kidnapped. You're like, okay, well, there you go. That's got to bring Ryu into it.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I didn't get is why was they trying after Irene was? I mean, was it just to get him, to get Ryu?
It looks like it. Well, I mean, yeah, because it's going to be revealed that Jacob is... Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, all that stuff that's revealed, it's revenge almost. He wants, yeah.
大丈夫か
私は大丈夫。
俺もなんとか大丈夫。
And I guess there's probably something in a prophecy nonsense somewhere or another. Yeah, kind of crap. Ryu is in ninja mode and is attempting to break into the Freedman facility. He's attacked by some mutants, but takes them down easily enough. Elsewhere, this last part really reminded me a lot of Battle Arena to Shingen and the facility part in that. Elsewhere, Robert reveals to Sarah what he knows and he realizes that Ned kidnapped Irene to bait Ryu. Okay. Jeff reveals a cache of weapons as they plan to go to the facility to get Irene back too. They don't want Sarah to come. Get a little sexist about it. They do get a little sexist about it. But she insists she's going. And in a very funny cut, a well done cut, we literally cut to Jeff and Robert on a motorbike and we see that they tied up Sarah. I guess she's not going with them after all. I did laugh a bit. I admit, I don't love the fact that they make a thing of all like, oh, they're being sexist. And she's like, nah, get in the bin, boys.
Yep.
And then they still get her away, they overpower and just tie her up.
I laughed. It was funny, but you know,
it's the cut that I liked.
But these guys are two professionals.
So why couldn't Sarah be professional as well? Like they underestimate her.
They do, yeah, but she might never fire a gun in her life.
Doesn't mind fire a gun. She can fight or something. She's a reporter. She's used to fighting off thugs.
I don't know, man. One
this guy's you're sexist.
One's ex-army and the other guy Jeff.
You know nothing about them. You're adding a lot of detail in there. Considering they basically seemingly die at one stage, I'm gonna call bullshit on it.
I'm going back to the flashback. Well, obviously Rhea's flashback.
I get that, but I think there's still other ways you could have done it. I still think it could have been fun to have Sarah kind of like, oh, this woman was with us. And then she ends up saving them by like kicking a mutant in the face or something. Even if that's the only thing she does, that would have been at least, something.
I suppose, yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
Ryu continues to murder his way into the facility, while Ned is watching the monitors with Irene tied up opposite him. He's seemingly excited for Ryu to get to them.
早くここまでたどり着くといいですね。ここへ来てあなたを見たときどんな顔をするか楽しみで仕方ありませんよ。
They then see Jeff and Robert arriving at the front gate in the monitors. The pair blast their way inside and start shooting the mutants. Between them and Ryu, it's any wonder there are any mutants left. I do think there's a few too many. It gets a bit over the top here, right?
It's a hell of a lot, yeah.
Jeff now reveals to Robert that he used to be a mercenary and he's enjoying the bloodshed. This was baffling scene.
Yeah.
You get this really random scene. While they kill more mutants, they talk about things they enjoy. Women, alcohol, men. And like, that's cool and all. But like, it's out of nowhere. And then it's like this whole thing with Jeff being like, yeah, I used to be a mercenary. And that's why I pretend to be a coward. Because I don't want to enjoy the blood and killing. But I'm enjoying this killing. And I'm like, whoa.
It's a bit random.
Chill the fuck out, film. Let's keep it light, yeah? Let's keep it light.
Definitely a bit random, yeah.
It's just so over the top, yeah. Ryu then makes mental contact with the girl he had a vision of earlier. Whatever. He tries to find her, but she doesn't know where she is. Useful. While begging Ryu to save her. He ends up finding a big lab with lots of experiments and finds a doctor cowering in fear. Apparently, Ned wants to create a superhuman race. It's always that, isn't it?
Of course.
The genes of an experimental subject obscured in a tank added to human DNA. I was like, Tyrant, Tyrant's in the tank.
Yep.
Ryu sends the doctor off scurrying as Ned continues to watch on screen. He sees Ryu blowing up his lab and is so outraged he shoots the computer screen. What did you think he was going to do? You have watched him tear his way through your facility going, this is great, he's coming to me.
Yep.
Oh no, he blew up my lab. I'm shocked. What? You're an idiot. You're an idiot. He tells Irene that he can make more machines as long as he has this power. I was like, shut up. We all know it's dragony power.
Yep.
She now notices a crystal ball with something inside it in the room. And I was like, please stop throwing these random new things in. I'm trying to keep up, Phil. I'm doing a good job of keeping up. But, like, calm down.
竜の忍者め、私がせっかく作った超人類製造装置を、奴には人類の進化ということが分かってないのか。まあいい、装置などいくつでも作れる。私にこの力がある限り。
Jeff and Robert are still fighting away, lots of shooting. It starts to go wrong though as Jeff gets his foot bitten off. Right? It wasn't me, right? Bitten off.
That's what I thought too.
But later he's limping, so I guess it was just bitten.
Bitten, yeah, but to me...
It looked like it was bitten off.
I mean, it's quite dark. It is quite dark.
But I was like, oh, cool.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. He sends Robert on and promises to hold him off and meet him at the bar later. And I was like, hero. It's a hero's death.
I mean, I did think that surely one of them had to die. It's a film, so one has to die, surely.
It didn't feel like the film was long enough or like deep enough to kind of do anything there.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised they kind of did anything, but I'm not complaining. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not, you know, and it was like, oh, okay, we're going to get heroic death here. That's kind of cool.
Yep.
And seeing an armada of mutants coming towards him, Jeff brings the roof down in the mall, and while we don't see him die, presumably killing himself in the process.
Yeah.
Spoilers, he's fine.
Yeah.
Ryu smashes through a window into a room holding Ned and Irene. Ned shows him that he's created the power of the Dark Gods. Apparently, when Ryu fought Jacko, Ned recorded a surge of power from the Dark Gods. That is how he has made the power. What? First off, what do you mean we recorded it?
Yep.
You had a recorder out?
Phone, you know.
So,
Nokia 3210.
do you know what I mean? What is that even mean? But also, that isn't a power? I didn't get it. He threatens to shoot Irene if Ryu gets any closer. I thought you wanted him to come here. Robert now arrives, but Ned is then stabbed from behind by Bucky Wise.
Yep.
Shock moment. Didn't see that coming.
Nope, neither
was
did I.
like, oh, okay.
ここに女の子がいるな。
よくやってくれたよ、ネッド。お前の役目はこれまでだ。
バッキー・ワイス教授。
Irene reunites with Ryu as Bucky Wise reveals himself as Jacko. Now, while they don't explicitly say that, they do a flashback scene and Ryu's like,
Yeah,
you know, and it's like, okay, right. Probably, though, spell that out, just have the line and with Ryu goes, Jacko! Like, you know what I mean? Like, reveal it, rather than we have to go, I'm 99% sure that's what it is, right? Yeah. Having survived his encounter with Ryu and Robert originally. It was him who got Ned to record the power and him who forced Ned into creating it by kidnapping his daughter. His daughter, the young girl Ryu has been speaking to, so everything's linking up here.
Yep.
You could wonder, why did Bucky Wise or Jacko need Ned? But remember what he said earlier on, Ned was a genius.
Yes, yeah.
He had the ability to do it, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
He then kills Ned and reveals they don't actually have the power, only a replica, and he needs only one more thing to break the seal. What is going on? Why? He pulls out a piece of the evil god's body. Okay. That combined with the power will be enough. And I was like, right, this makes no sense.
Yeah.
If you already had all these bits, so Ned had recreated the power clearly some time ago. You already have the piece of the god. Why have you been waiting till now to do it? Why have you allowed Ryu and all of them to get into the facility this far to do this? You didn't have to do any of this. What would have made more sense would have been like, I need the power of the dragon that you hold to combine with the power I have.
Yep.
Right?
It would have been a very short film, though, wouldn't it? So.
No, everything could have happened up to this point.
Yeah.
But instead of pulling up what looks like a finger that he's got in his hand, like he's like, I needed you to come here because I needed your power. Now I must defeat you, and when I defeat you, I'll be able to take your power, combine it with the replica I have.
Yep.
That's it. Instead, he already has all the bits, yet for some reason has waited till now to do it. Don't give me that. He's a villain, so he wanted to gloat. Gloat afterwards, you dickhead.
Got to do the old villain speech.
Yeah, because I was like, first I must settle things with you. I was like, why would you not settle things with him? He beat you before.
Yep.
He beat you. Get the power. Be stronger.
So then beat him, yeah.
For some reason, Ryu says he doesn't care about being a dragon ninja now. I was like, wait, when did that happen?
Yeah,
I had to check. I was like, scroll back. Did I black out from the annoyance? And was like, did I miss a part where he decided that,
His whole speech leading up to the film was him being a dragon ninja. Now he doesn't want to be one.
Yeah, he's all like, I only care about Irene. It's like, I can understand her being in danger, but you need to kind of give us a little bit more time with that to really understand that. It's just too quick. It's like, almost instant. Because, bear in mind, Ryu did not know Irene was kidnapped until he got there.
Yeah.
He didn't, because he'd already gone on ahead.
Yeah, true,
Yeah.
I mean, it does make me wonder if the version I watched has been cut down.
No, I don't. I remember I did look at the length time. I think there might be a couple of seconds here and there
it's quite
trimming
short,
up, but it's not. We didn't lose swathes of the film. We didn't. Ryu quickly kills the goon, and Bucky Wise transforms into a monstrous beast. The fight begins with Robert trying to help, but not doing much. He tells Irene to hide, but she insists on getting involved, arriving to see Ryu having been beaten seemingly. Robert shoots the monster to no avail, and Ryu is stabbed in the shoulder. So, okay, alright, okay. I mean, I knew he wasn't going to die, but I was still a bit like, oh, he's been stabbed in the shoulder. Irene picks up the sword and attempts to kill it, but she falls and gets her hand crushed. I was like, wow, this has got, when it wants to be violent, like, it's quite something. Robert is then knocked down as Ryu checks on Irene. She's hurt, but okay. Ryu then powers up, because dragon stuff, I don't know. And the fight continues with them both falling off the side of the building. He does manage to do some damage before running his sword through Jacko. They tumble back into the facility, Jacko being impaled and crushed, and Ryu is badly hurt. Cool end of the fight though, that like impaled on that statue, getting crushed, and Ryu being badly hurt was a nice touch. Because it would very easily shake it off and all that, but no, he actually looks like, oh shit, you might die.
Yeah, I like the fact that even towards the end of the film, you can see that he's badly hurt.
Yeah. The only thing is, like, they keep, this is just, it is an attempt, because it looks like they're both dead as Robert tries to comfort Irene, and this is the second time in this short film that they try to do are they dead?
Yeah.
Because they are then approached by the injured but alive Jeff, who is carrying the child, Ned Friedman's child.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is such a cop-out. Like, also, we saw that roof falling. What did he do?
He's
I'm fine. He's not a ninja.
No, he done what Obi-Wan did.
He's a mercenary.
He used the Force, didn't he? Like Obi-Wan.
Indeed. Irene cries over Ryu's fallen body, but he moves, revealing that he's still alive. And I was like, oh, wow. Never would have believed it.
Kind of a sad ending.
Of course, the thing is, I don't mind Ryu being alive. It's Jeff that's the problem.
Yeah, of course.
As they laugh happily. We then cut to Sarah angrily standing outside as the others greet her and suggest they get a drink. She punches Robert in the face, but he laughs and proposes to her. Okay?
Yeah, that was a bit random too.
I do like the thing is I do like this stuff because it's like I feel like when they wrote this and directed and all that, they clearly wanted to put more life into the characters, but maybe just didn't have enough time to do what we really want. We then see the child Catherine finding the piece of the evil gods. You want to pick that shit up, will you, and take it with you? Just leave it there. And she picks it up. It starts to glow in her hands. Ooh, what must that mean?
Number 2.
What must that mean? And then Ryu and Irene kiss to end the film. And yeah, that's it. It's a happy ending, so to speak, but with hints to potentially something else in their future. It has its flaws. It has its faults. The story is moments where you're just generally like, well, what is going on here? And that's, I think, at fault mainly to do with the length and the speed of trying to get through it. But that also works in its favour. Because it never felt like it dragged. I don't know about you, I was never bored.
No. So, I mean, out of the recent films you watched, this is definitely
one of the better of the animation, the OVAs,
and bloody Double Dragon with.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I think I reflect positively on this because I think it's peppy. They attempt to give the characters life. The voice acting is strong. We watched it with original Japanese voices with English subtitles. All works quite nicely. I think the plot overall, while it could be tidier and less complex, was pretty good. You know, it had a clear beginning, middle, and end. But I also really am a big fan of you haven't got to tell me everything. So here's a pre-existing relationship that you are now stepping into, which is rare to get in these animations.
And I think 50 minutes is perfect. If an hour and 30 minutes, you'd be like, oh god.
I wouldn't go that far, but I do wonder if they could have gone to 65, 70. An hour and 10 to just flesh out a little bit here, a little bit more of Ryu and why, and him and Irene, a little bit more to do with Ned and Jacko and stuff like that. Maybe. I don't know. But I'm still pretty satisfied with it overall. Which with these movies, it's so hit and miss. We can never fully know if we're about to watch something good or bad or just because it's of a time. And this is very much of a time.
Yes, definitely.
Particularly it's an adaptation of, well, a beloved series of a certain era. By today's standards, I mean, most young people and all that probably have never heard of Ninja Gaiden. Consider, I don't think there's been a new game since like 2006 when I checked. It might be a bit later than that, but it's been a very, very long time for this franchise. So it's really people of a certain age who played the major games, the original stuff back in the NES, maybe even the arcade and so on. Yeah,
so effectively, that game's probably dead, the series.
Probably. I'd never say never with anything. Do you know what I mean? Like that. As a Shenmue fan, you should know that. You should never say never. But I would say, like, that's the biggest problem I think I have with this movie from this series perspective, is we have no comparative to compare it to. All the things we've touched upon, like the dragon and stuff and the power of the gods, I am presuming that is in the games in some way or another. I'm presuming the characters are all there and so on. I mean, I know Ryobushi is and stuff like that. But the likes of Robert and Irene and all that, I'm going to presume they were in later games that maybe had a bit more development.
Yeah, I presume that too,
Because I can't imagine the original like arcade NES game had this much detail in it.
No.
Maybe it did. Maybe you do know. Maybe you are a super Ninja Gaiden fan. And maybe you love this. Or maybe you think this is actually really a terrible example of how to do it. You know what to do? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please help us out by giving us a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. If you really liked what you saw, consider donating to keep the website and channel running by buying us a coffee via our coffee page or picking up some merch from our Big Cartel store. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as via our social media, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as listen to our interviews via SoundCloud, Apple Music and Spotify. Just search for GBHBL. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?